Barely.
Barely.
Just had a recruiter.
Okay. Well, thank you. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize past presidents. If there's any past presidents in the room, please stand up. First thing on our agenda is the Northeast Division report. John Cooper, would you please present the report?
Yes. All right, I guess I'll say something. The division will meet with the Southern New England chapter February 26th to 28th in Mystic, Connecticut. It is their 50th year in existence. And so we hope we can, as a division, help them out. Maybe they can help us. That's it.
Great, thank you. We'll take a minute now to review the last business meeting minutes. If anybody has any comments or edits, please speak now. If nobody has any major edits to make, is there a motion to?
Make the motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Margaret?
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is unanimously approved. Up next on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Treasurer, Secretary Schluter.
All right. So everything's fine now. All right, so I'm not going to bore you this year. We'll try to streamline it somewhat. So the classic receipts, expenditures, and then overall budget or trends, we'll show you all that. So again, to refresh people's memory, we have the 4 quarters, the year to date, and then the budget, what we have planned to spend. The difference here was $150 we were supposed to target to make. So in the first quarter, I guess I just run down, we got the business meeting, the raffle did real well. Some workshop, we brought in $350. Miscellaneous there was a sales tax rebate I was able to achieve, get that back. And then, we get the classic lulls between the next 2 quarters where not much goes on. The top line, the membership rebates are from the society. Those little kickbacks we get when, again, I'd make the plea that if you're going to be a society member, pay your dues through them because we get back more than that $10. So that's that top line item. And that totaled $1,845 for the year. The annual meeting brought in 26. The raffle, again, total was $26.16. The workshop portion of that, we brought in $350. Overall, the interest for the year, which is 0.05%, whopping, $150.66. And I'll talk to you a little bit about what we did as an ex-con. I think I alluded to the fact at the last meeting. And then this, I want to highlight this, Doug's Fish Atlas book. An incredible document. It's available online. As a group, we decided that the museum wasn't going to print it, that older folks like me that are between the transition between electronic wanted some paper. So we thought as a membership, something we'd get back to the membership is we could front that and print those on behalf of Doug and the museum. So we did that. We made a run of 100, and then those sold right out. So we made another print of 100. We didn't offer them for sale on the website like we had with the first 100. We have them here for $40. If anyone, a shameless plug, if anyone wants to buy them. After this meeting, they'll go back on the website for sale, and then I ship them out to folks. So I say all that because we took in $3,900, so it was quite an investment. We got half of it back, right? So right now we have 100 books in stock. We bought stock in Doug, right? So we have that, and that cost us. So at the end of the day, we brought in $35,491, and we were projected to bring in $25,650. So the expenditures, obviously laid out the same. The annual meeting, I'm just going to go down this year to date. $23,000 overall last year. We made just over $1,500 on the meeting, which is good. Remember, we're trying to shoot for zero. We don't want to go too far under or too far over, but because we have money to play with, we just want to try to hit that just right. And Chris et al. Tim did a great job. The workshop expenditures was $2,500. That was for the ESSA presentation we had on adaptive management. And that was included in that workshop profits we made. PayPal, so this is something we're starting to list in the first time you saw it. So all that PayPal registration we do online comes at a cost. And Frank and I, as Frank eloquently put last year, better ways to track it. So PayPal, for all the meeting costs and all that, we ended up paying $623 for that ease handling. So we just wanted to kind of throw that out there. That's the realized cost of that ease. $251.71 was the raffle seed money to buy raffle prizes. We let presidents-elect that are in charge of the raffle spend up to $250. Dimitri went way over.
Just like this meeting.
Posters, all the travel awards we give the students, best paper, best poster, that's $900. What else we got? Miscellaneous expenditures. This is a pretty big number, right? So this year we invested in some technology, right? That we're the 513. A portion of that was the video camera that's being displayed there to record talks. We think that's a big value, and it's been good for the membership. This other price is one of the things we deal with in concurrent sessions like this. Is each room has to have a computer. So we've been relying on government computers, right? All that's security. Last year, if you remember, we had some issues, right? With thumb drives not being recognized, and for someone running it, it's a cluster, right? So Jeff is he on Black Friday? Was
Black
it?
Friday, not $8,000. Wrong one.
1,800. Did I say 8,000? No, 1,800. So that 1,325, we invested in 3 computers for the chapter. They're ours. No security software other than Norton. We should not have any problem, any glitches. And we thought with extra money we had, that was a wise investment for sanity of all involved. So that total of technology is about 1,800. Then here's where Doug, Biden and Doug here, $7,975.53. That's 200 books. Of that, we got back 3,900. So that first 100 we made, we wanted to keep some for the raffle. So we're in the positive, and we have 10 books for the raffle in that first 100. The second 100 haven't been. I don't think one has been sold yet today at the meeting, but I might be wrong. So at the bottom line here, Dimitri's budget, he was hoping to make $150. We're $2,318 in whole. And that doesn't reflect on Dimitri, because like I say, and Chris, the last meeting we were over $1,500 positive, but Mark will benefit next year if I can offload these books, right? That's all gravy. Accounts, I'll just run down this last tally here. The checking, which is the same line as this, we have $6,666.53 in checking. We had our 4 CDs, and this is where I'll get back to that investment component. So the 2 CDs we had, $5,999 and $5,871 are still in active CDs. They don't mature for another year plus. The other 2 you see we time out here, right? So last year I mentioned at the business meeting that we were going to try a different strategy, right? These are making 0.05%. Don't need to be an investment banker to figure that out, that we're not doing much. So they timed out in February, and the thought was that the society now has an AFS investment portfolio that is, I can read off some numbers. The return rates are for 3-month return rates on average since inception have been about 4%. 1 year's been about 1.5% return. 3 years, 8.3, 5 years, 8.2, and the 10-year average is 7.47 return. So we opted, the XCOM voted to take that $10,000 as the minimum investment. So we've invested that $10,000 in that AFS investment portfolio. So in the future, you'll be hearing me report on how that's done, right? So it's invested conservatively. I mean, is there risk? There is. It's low. They have a lot of money invested in it, over $1 million. I think there's 6 other chapters in on it. Some are obviously well off. They have $10K as a minimum deposit to get into it. So we've done that, and those have dropped off the radar here, and we'll have to report them differently in out years. Oh, the trend.
Shouldn't we get your money back out of that?
That's correct. It's liquid, so we can get that money out at any time we wish with no penalties. And there is a little bit, there's a management fee that's real low. Overall, we still should be in that. If the 10-year trend holds, obviously the classic, past performance doesn't predict future performance kind of quote. We should still be over 7% interest. We'll see. So again, we don't have Scotch fish, and that's a thing of the past because it's way too complicated to do. The fish that follows. But again, the investment in the books brought us down, but normally we would have, short of the books purchase and investment, we would have been positive. So we're still on that positive trend. We always throw in this 4% line of inflation that we always have. It's probably not accurate. It's probably like 2%, but I just kind of carried on every year. I got to follow in Scott's footsteps, so it's his fault. I don't think there's any other. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Brian?
Those computers
Yes.
are available for other chapter use, correct?
They are for chapter events.
And so for other people putting stuff on,
Yep.
you need stuff like that, Jeff has them all boxed up in a sweet bag and
Ken?
they're easy to go and can be used, so. It's not just a manual meeting tool, so other folks need that, please make use of it.
Trainings and
The Rome Lab.
Or a chapter office.
What's that?
Wherever
You're
they
in Stony
reside.
Brook, you're a little out of luck.
That's true.
Any other questions?
I move that we accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Okay, so next up, we will go into the committee reports. All of the committee heads do an outstanding job, and I don't mean to devalue any of the work you do, but please try to remain brief. This review.
Real quickly, we've had a very productive web experience this past year. You'll see these are my top 10 after I started keeping track of the statistics on our web usage. This is for the entire year. There they are. The welcome page had 28,000 hits. So we're actually getting out to a large number of people. This is awesome. Who knows why, but it's working out well. So, if you guys have things to put on the yes card,
Those unique hits or repeats?
that's what I can't track with the software I have. I've been looking at new ones to find out if it's the same person 10,000 times. Myself, just to make it look good. Keep on going. But no, I don't know, but I can tell you that our top referrals are Google, followed by Bing and Yahoo, which makes sense. Those are the main search engines. And then I took a snapshot of the entire year on browsers by platform. So it's either a smartphone, Windows, a Mac. And here's the interesting thing, right down here, you probably can't see it, it's an Xbox One. I was like, Xbox One, isn't that a video game machine? I was like, yeah, it is. So I started asking around a little bit, and yeah, so I guess it's a millennial. I don't know, I'm pretty old now, so they use that stuff to search internet stuff. So we're actually reaching that next generation, which is encouraging. You know, so they can actually use our website and not get too stuck in the Flintstone mode. So basically, you know, you guys have been getting all kinds of email blasts from me. I'm not going to really apologize because they're really informational. We have 458 people registered on our mail pull list through our website, and I have another listserv I use when we need immediate responses. We posted about 20 positions on our job board. We're just continually maintaining things, fixing things, so if you're on the website and you see something not working correctly, just let me know, and I can look at it. We had some PayPal issues earlier in our registration process. I think I had most of those fixed. We have 22 pages, and if you have suggestions or any ideas, here's my email right there. That's all I have. Any questions?
Excellent, thank you very much. Yeah, that's great. These are in a very different order than we're usually doing. Jeff, would you like to give a communication update?
The main updates were covered. We do have chapter computers now. The other thing is, the reason we're filming is we have a YouTube channel that you can search New York State AFS on YouTube and find. Subscribe, because it's got kind of a strange name as a channel name. It's N-Y AFS, NYAFS. It's the only thing that was available. I don't know what the other one is. But just so you know, the talks are pretty popular. One has 6.6 thousand views. The next has 110 views, 234 views. So people are going and watching these talks after the fact. So it's a good distribution tool. It's a good learning tool for students. I hope you use it. I haven't gotten any negative feedback on it yet. So we're going to continue.
Great, thank you very much. Annual meeting updates. The meeting so far has been going very well. I believe we are at 196 for registered attendees. The workshop that we had yesterday was about 96 people signed up for. And for those that were there, they know how great it was. And for those who couldn't make it, you know, that was a really wonderful workshop. And we hope to be able to do some more of that in the future. Do you have anything that you'd like to say about the program so far?
No, we've got a good couple sessions tomorrow, so I think everything's running pretty smoothly. Anybody have any questions, let me know.
Thank you very much, Tom, for all your work with it. I think the program, the speakers, and the organization has been perfect. Scott, would you like to do a newsletter?
Okay. So mine is short and sweet. I'm sure you're all aware, about 2 years ago we transitioned away from a quarterly PDF newsletter and switched over to a rolling science blog, if you will. And I guess kind of went out on a leap of faith that the membership would support the blog with updates frequently enough to make it, viable and, a worthwhile exercise. And so far, so good. We're about 2 years in. This year we had 17 submissions, so on average we're getting more than one a month. I'd still like to maybe, double that as we get into next year. And I think the area that we're really striving to improve is student participation. And I'm hoping, if you are working in the university setting, please implore your students. I've been joking with Mark, it's going to be a mandatory part of all this syllabi going forward. And I love that idea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Such a but I guess, my hope is that we'll get more students involved and, professionals alike. And my goal, and if you have suggestions, obviously I'm open to it, my goal is to make this as easy as humanly possible. So if you want to submit something to the blog, it can be about anything that you're doing. Starting a new project, just found a weird species somewhere where it shouldn't be, just published a paper, whatever. Send me 1 or 2 photos, send me 3 to 5 sentences of text, and I'll throw it up there, and that's that. occasionally when it gets stale, I'll send out an email blast to everyone. You've probably seen, one or two over the last year. But the fact that you're not getting a lot of those means that we're doing halfway decent, getting submissions. So that's where we are with that. Again, I'd love to stand here next year and say that we're up to 30 or more in the year, but so far we're hanging in there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I don't see Frank in here. Oh, there he is. Would you like to give a...
Yeah, actually, very short. Actually, Scott did a tremendous job last year, and everything matched up, and we're good to go for 2017.
All right. That's great news.
So now it's on Mark.
Ross, would you like to give an update on the professional awards?
We have 4 fantastic recipients for tonight's banquet, and this is the first time in 7 years that we've issued all 4 at the banquet. So pretty excited.
Perfectly brief. Maybe, how about a workshop update?
I think you covered it, I walked in.
Okay.
We have got James Ray here from the Allen Overton Institute, how to communicate science or technical topics more effectively. It was well attended. 90 or so people signed up, wouldn't be an actual head count, but a good crowd. So yeah, moving forward, if anybody has any ideas for future workshops, before, sure let me know, and we'll try to make it happen.
Great, thank you. Scott, would you give a membership update or if you did not need some more time?
Nope.
Looking for something tomorrow.
All right, so I was going to put this up so it'll be a little more wordy than I hoped. I was hoping just to have you stare at it. So the bottom line is last year we had 233 members. That's members that paid through AFS, their membership dues here, that paid through PayPal as part of the meeting registration, and then paid me directly here at the meeting. So we had 233 last year total. We have 231 this year. So I won't bore you with all the details. If anyone wants detailed breakdowns of student, young professional, regular members, life members, retired members through AFS, and then here in the chapter we just have regular and student. The take-home message is we've had a lot more activity from our students signing up with AFS, and that's a good thing. And I don't know if that's some of the promotional stuff that AFS has been running to try to get increased membership. But the bottom line is here in the New York chapter, students that signed up for the meeting, we have that $5 registration fee. It's not required like it is regular members, but we lost 20 there, right? So they made up for that by going to the National Society. So that's good. But the bottom line, our numbers are about the same.
Yeah, the last 5 to 10 years, it's sort of flat.
Pretty much, it's going up though. I mean, we're in the high 100s, 180. Right, Scott?
Yeah, it's hard to track.
It's terrible. I should mention that. So we have at our XCOM meetings, we have the membership thing section comes up every time. I made a commitment last year that the best way to get numbers is if you pay through the society. If you pay up to September 15th, you're counted that year. After September 15th, you're counted the next year, right? So I made September our cutoff. So we get the September numbers from AFS and see what New York chapter members paid through there. That's our snapshot time. So that's what we'll report on for September.
So you could have 20 people, 25 people that signed up after September. I know I do in December.
Right.
That go.
Right, so that counts next year, and we count your next September.
Jones, you should make the case.
If anyone wants to look at the numbers, they have them.
All right. For student stuff, first I want to thank all the individuals who helped with all the judging, both here at the meeting as well with the travel award, with Scott on the spot. You see me coming around with the sheets, and I'm like, this is such a pain at the meeting. I know you don't want to go to these things. And Scott fixed me up with that. He said, well, Brian, I know when I got this award in 2012, this really meant a lot to me. I put it on the wall, and it was important to my career, and so it really kind of sort of bolstered my reasoning and the importance of all you doing the judging for the posters and for the talks. So just keep it up, that's great. We're going to do the awards at the banquet, so a few more people get to recognize our great students.
Great. Thank you so much, Brad. I guess along the lines of the student subbing and stuff, I think we have a record student attendance this year, right?
Seems like that.
And when we find our membership numbers next year, I think we're going to see a huge bump with those student members. So that's a great thing for the chapter. Tom Hughes, would you like to give your youth education update?
All right, so our primary function for youth education continues to be delivering the Youth Aquatic Resource Education Workshops. YAR is our acronym. We did 4 this past year. We did 1 in April at Hartwick College Pine Lake Environmental Campus. In October, we did 2 at SUNY Morrisville, and then additionally in Cornell Biological Field Station, we did another workshop. For those of you that aren't familiar, we were able to deliver a curriculum to train folks in teaching kids sport fishing, aquatic ecology in lakes and streams, and we have a partnership with the National Isaac Walton League of America where we deliver Creek Freaks curriculum. And this partnership over the last 5 workshops has actually allowed us to utilize their grant to support these workshops. So to date, since 2014, we've done 6 workshops. We've trained about 100 participants, mostly collegiate students, although we've also had educators and K-12 teachers participate. And my expenditures, although they weren't reflected in the Treasury report, because I just handed in my receipts yesterday, total $168 for those 6 workshops. So that's about $1.68 per person, and they're free to the participants. So we're getting a good value right now, and hopefully we can keep this partnership going. And we're planning one, I hope, for May of this coming year. So keep an eye out for that.
So from the treasurer, Tom requested $500 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago, and he hasn't spent a dime, so this is the first request. I don't know where he's getting the money from, but he's pulling these off.
You want to run it?
Thanks, Tom.
You want to run it?
No, I can't do any of that.
Okay, next on our agenda is Native American Affairs. Tony, can you give us an update?
Sure. So I've been working just to disseminate information about the chapter and some of the resources and the people that are available. And so we talked yesterday in the AFCOM meeting about ways that we can continue to make that offer and trying to get more tribal participation. And so far we've had a couple of bumps in attendance, so it seems promising. So I just want to continue with that.
Thank you. Lisa, give us an update on the fish.
Sure. No committee meeting this year. I didn't have time to pull it together, my apologies, but just some updates. There's no news, no progress on the state update of the endangered and threatened species list at this point. It's kind of in limbo. Rulemaking initiation made it to the commissioner's desk, from what I understand, it's been sitting there. So keep you posted if anything happens through the blog or whatever. And then the other thing I will be distributing hopefully within a week or 2 is the Northeast Fish and Wildlife Diversity Technical Committee, which I am on, and I'm the chair of the fish subgroup. Yay. They just went through designating regional species of greatest conservation need for fish, mussels, crayfish, bugs. So those lists will be available shortly. So I'll get you guys links to where you can find those lists, particularly for the fish.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you. This whole meeting is like a native fish meeting. Okay, next up, Randy.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There have been no resolutions submitted to me for this through 2016, so I have no resolutions. The one environmental issue I want to note is that the 2014 Lake Ontario St. Lawrence River level for control has been approved by both the Canadian government and the United States government. That has been implemented, and that implementation means that there'll be greater fluctuation of water levels in the river and on Lake Ontario through this plan. So hopefully, we're not sure, sometimes it looks like we only measure in millimeters or centimeters, but let's, we will get better and better as we fine tune this. So that's the positive thing I want to do. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So for nominating update, we have 2 nominees for president, and voting has been done, has closed, it's taken place already. And so we have Karen Lindberg and Susan Cushman, and the results of the election will be under new business. Well, where is the box?
Worried about voter fraud or something?
That's Mark's, the new president.
That people actually voted.
Does anybody need to cast a last minute vote? Scott, would you like to update us on the historian elements of our chapter?
Sure. So my daughter finally finished scanning in all of the files I received from John Homa, which were about this, all of that wide. So she was pretty excited to have that off her agenda. I passed the files on to Eric, and he's going to put them on the web. He was going to put them on the web, and we're going to try to make them searchable by word, so in case you want to look up some old stuff. I will say that last year was our 50th meeting. Next year is our 50th anniversary of the original charter in 1968. So I think we might do something a little special. One of the things I would like to do is have a showing of the aquatic ecologist. I don't know if everybody has seen it, but Rod Serling did it back in the 70s, and it helped financially support this chapter for a long time. So.
That's a different title.
It's the aquatic ecologist.
American Fisheries Scientist.
Yeah, that was my fault. That was what my CD was labeled. I've not looked at it yet.
Well, that's different rating. It's aquatic ecologist.
It's aquatic ecologist.
Yeah, maybe these minutes
Sorry.
need to be.
So
What's the one in the
Karen moves that we amend the minutes.
To the correct thing.
Yeah. So yes, I would like to have a showing of that next year, possibly during the guest speaker social. I also found a great need this year to move quickly forward with the guidance document for holding an annual meeting. So I hope to gather all those knowledgeable people that have run meetings in the past. I'll reach out again to some of those people and get any notes or any recollections. And I will definitely get some kind of draft going. I think it's an important thing as we move through these meetings.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for giving such brief committee reports. There is no old business to discuss, and as such, we should move on to new business. Could we have 2 past presidents volunteer to escort our new president to the podium? We have one more.
Sorry, I get it a little while.
Get a good picture. That's the important part.
Congratulations, Mark.
Congratulations, President Mark.
Wow.
that was strange and nicely awkward. So thank you, past presidents. And one thing, I feel like I'm among friends, and I know that I am. And as such, the friends will tell me everything that I'm doing wrong, and I expect that. So, and I appreciate that. I guess part of my job is to look to the future. Thanks. I'm a big believer in taking a kid fishing. That's my little boy. That's out on Otsego Lake. We're going to have the meeting next year. And so when I listened to some of Nancy's remarks earlier this morning, I realized that there isn't any more powerful video game than that young man looking down an ice fishing hole and being able to see and interact with the fish. It's more powerful than the iPhone. It's more powerful than the video game. It captures the mystery of our natural world. And so I guess that's going to be one of the things that I look forward to working with all of you in the next year on. So I guess the other thing that I have to do is present what I think is going to happen in next year. We've already nailed down the Oda Saga in Cooperstown, and I'm going to give you the date again. So we've already met with those folks. They're going to give us the same deal that we had for Chris Van Maren's meeting, so that we're already locked in. The dates are already set. The prices aren't going to increase. Government rate is all locked in. The meeting is essentially all locked and loaded and ready to go. So we're all squared away with that. At least I think we are. All the catering people and all the hospitality people, we have the budget in our hands, and it looks exactly the same as it did for Chris's meeting. So membership, $2,000, 2017 annual meeting, $21,000, raffle, $1,500, workshop, $2,000, interest, $150, donations, $500, New York Fish Atlas, thanks Doug, $2,600, hopefully totaling receipts, $29,750, expenditures, what we hope is, we're not hoping to make a ton of money. We want, receipts and expenditures and sort of what we think is going to happen will actually happen, hopefully, so that we break even or even make a little bit of money. $21,000 for the annual meeting, the workshops, $3,500, a little investment for the 2018 meeting, $1,000, raffle, $250, which interestingly helps because then you can leverage things like that Hornbeck canoe that's out there. Office supplies, postage, $300, travel awards, invest paper, $1,000, NED officer meeting expenses, $900, AFS National, for the president to go to national. I plan to fund myself. I have professional development at my place of work, so I should be able to fund myself. Donations, we're not budgeting for that. Youth education, another $500 if you need it. Hopefully it'll last 5 years this time. Award plaques, $300, miscellaneous, the Muskie book. One thing I'm learning is past presidents are to can once in a while. Apparently this is one of those deals, so $1,000 for the Muskie book, hopefully totaling about $29,750. I think I have to ask for an approval of this proposed budget, so on that.
I move we accept Mark's budget as proposed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I noticed from this year that the PayPal expense was a little over $600. Is that going to be an expense again next year that we need to account?
I'm going to defer to the Secretary Treasurer.
Yeah, so Frank, jump in here. So, the auditor's got a watchdog, right? So it's tough. So when everything goes to PayPal, Eric, he left too, so I can say something bad about him. No, when everything goes to PayPal, that money's our money you pay into PayPal, they take their chunk and then they forward it on. Eric then transfers the money in, right? So from an accountability standpoint, I just have, for the auditor's sake, those transfers, every time there were transfers, how much money came into the account. Right? So we have a tough time, like Frank and I discussed it, how do we track that, right? So on our big master spreadsheet, I have a column that we just put that in there and it just goes to the bottom, that that's what we paid all year. There's not a way to, on the treasurer's report that you see here, basically I falsified it, right? I put the 623 in and then take it out just so folks can see what trackability, so that's where we can track it. If you have a better option or how you want to see it, let me know. But I think that's, if I can get it by frame, I mean, that's my mark.
So that cost is essentially just, it could be rolled into the annual meeting.
It is, right? So that's part of the expenditure.
Any other discussion?
Thanks, Mike.
Because we actually never, we don't actually ever receive the money and then pay them a fee. They just take it right off the top for everything that goes through them.
Every customer.
There's really no way of accounting for it. You know, we find out a month later or 2 months later, this is how much they took out, you know.
Want to vote? Okay. Anybody else? So let's do that again. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the proposed budget is enacted. Mark your calendars. We're headed back to the Osaga, February 7th to the 9th. Again, a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the shores of beautiful Otsego Lake. And we should be able to walk right out the back door and ice fish if we have good ice, which we didn't last time. But one day after the meeting at the Osaga, we had good ice. So unfortunately, that was the case, but I think it should be okay. Yep, Barry.
We do one thing for the speakers there,
Yep.
check their sound systems and get some better.
Well,
Okay. Yep. Dan Stitch is back there shaking his head. Okay, good. We will do that. So I guess our theme, Dan Stitch is back there. Dan is going to be the program chair. And Dan, you want to say a word or two about what you think might be program theme?
Sure. Mark and I have been chewing on some ideas. We shot down 80s dance night. Turning the spotlight back towards something like forage fish. A lot of folks are probably familiar with what's been going on in Otsego Lake at that location over the last couple of decades. Big focus on what's going on there. It might be neat to highlight that in other areas of the state. Trying to keep it broad, sort of from what we've been talking about so far. But we'd like to be able to include things like some of our anadromous forage species, things like trophic cascades, we've got dynamics, natives, invasives, maybe some restoration methods that are going on around town.
Okay, so next we would like to acknowledge Dimitri, past presidents award. So it says, so American Fisheries Society chapter president Dimitri Gorski is hereby awarded this certificate of appreciation in recognition of all you do, and I'm starting to realize what it is that you do. So, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And let's come over for.
All right. Sure. Which
Take the
one?
box out.
Let's go that way.
Yeah, take it out.
I got you.
Thank you very much. I'll keep it brief. It's been a pleasure to have served as the president for this chapter. AFS always means a lot to me. It always has, and this chapter is just the best. So thank you, everybody.
Okay. So Scott Jones has a point of order when it comes to our secretary-treasurer position.
So, just to assist on behalf of Scott, this is another year where we have to, every other year we have to potentially vote for a new secretary treasurer. So with that, on behalf of Mark, I open the floor to any nominations for secretary treasurer.
Scott Schluter.
Scott Schluter.
Hearing none, I move that the treasurer cast, the secretary cast one vote for the treasurer. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Lisa was the second. So thank you, and thank you, Scott, for your service. Scott is really the glue, man, that holds all of this together. I'm quickly realizing that. Oh
It's not a firm one.
It's more of a hot
So the last thing I think that I have to take care of is the results of the election, the president-elect. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Karen Lindbergh. So congratulations. Congratulations. Do we have any notes? Oh, right, Susan, thank you for participating. We appreciate it, and it's really nice to have a strong interest, and it really makes things, it makes it better when we have some choice. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Excellent choices. Yeah. What else do I have to take care of? Anything? The awards will be given out for the student travel, and all of those will be given out at the banquet. Raffle, everybody's wondering when to buy raffle tickets. Right after we leave here, raffle tickets will be available. So during the poster session, there'll be people walking around selling raffle tickets. They will be $1 a piece, or 6 tickets for $5, and then an arm's length will be $10. So there'll be people walking around.
All people aren't.
I second.
Second. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
We adjourn. Thank you.